Hello again, guys and girls, the GOW4 community. Welcome back. This is episode 8 of the Road to GOW4 series. And today we are talking about maps. But before I get into that, I just want to quickly mention the gameplay. And there's a bit of a story behind this. And I know it is frowned upon for people to be teabagging. Especially someone who is a YouTuber, has influence, who should be setting a good example for other people. But I do have a good reason. The reason you're looking at me teabagging people in this match is basically because I was playing against a 4-man team and I joined a matchup. It was a quick match. There was a 4-man team. And like literally instantly the moment we get into the round, I think it was Bullet Marsh, they slaughtered 4 players on my team, and then they just go into spawn trap mode, and they just got boom, went back, spawn trap, got boom, went back, spawn trap. Now that's kind of annoying for me in quick match, but then the thing that annoyed me even more is the players were going around teabagging people themselves, and that just annoyed the hell out of me, because there's one thing I hate more than anything else is just, you know, undeserved ego. Someone in quick match who's got 3 players coordinating with him, who's got the blatant advantage over the other team, who should be winning by default, is getting, you know, excited over the fact that he's winning. He's sitting there going, oh yeah, I'm amazing because me and my 3 other people who are coordinating how to play are beating this team of players who don't actually have a way of communicating. And it's just, I just find it pathetic, really. But yeah, that's why you're watching me teabag a bunch of players in quick match. And I did, this was like the very match after that, and I carried this match so much. So if you want to see how to carry a match against a stack team, this is how you do it. And my score at the end was godly, but still, I'll leave you guys to look at that later. Anyway, so we're talking about maps today, and I just really wanted to quickly get this over and done with, because I think it's an important thing for the Epic designers to understand, is how to design good maps, how to design enjoyable, playable maps, especially maps that work competitively. So, first off, I really want to urge the people at Epic, if they ever do design a Gears of War 4, to ignore the judgment maps. Just never consider anything like it. And I'm also going to talk about verticality in, I think, one of my later episodes. But seriously, don't make vertical maps. Flat maps work fine for Gears of War. That is the game that we play, and flat maps are great. So yeah, let's start with a few good examples. Checkout is a perfect example. It has a really great balance because it has enough presence on one side of the map with the nades and, well, I was going to say the mulcher, that's not really, that's kind of irrelevant, but the fact that the nades are on one side of the map and there is a really great focal point in the sniper and the digger and the insins and inks, in that little area, what we call the check area in competitive, that is a really great focal point because it is really, really complex. It has lots of area for strategy, lots of area for Nasher play. Really, really fun. But like I said, it has a lot of where it has enough reason to pull you away from that, because the nades can be thrown in behind a team. You can go around to flank other teams. It's a really great map because it has a great focal point which forces strategic play, which also really includes or has a great way of including how to play with a Nasher. Now, another great example would be Old Town. Really great follower of the 3-lane rule, which I'm going to explain in a minute. But basically, there's loads and loads of different things you can do. It's great for execution because there's about 100 different strategies you could come up. A lot of people love the send 3 people to sniper, 1 person to mid, and things like that. But yeah, the reason these maps are great are because they just work well in competitive. And if it works well in competitive, then it's going to work well in pubs, because it just trickles down. And competitive is literally, it's not a different form of the game. It's just the game playing at a higher level. And if it works well in that kind of higher level, then it works well in pubs. So another great example would be Dry Dock. So this is a little bit different, and the reason Dry Dock works well is not because it's great in execution, but because it's great in King of the Hill. And this is something I'm going to get onto in a moment, but there really should be maps which are designed for execution, maps which are designed for King of the Hill, maps which are designed for other great modes. But the reason it works well for King of the Hill is because it has sections which are split off from each other. It's a really open map, but it has a way of putting enough cover around the map for you to be able to hold down something like Tiki and not be influenced by someone who's camping on Torpo. Even though it is a really open map, a really large map, it works really well for King of the Hill. And that's another great thing. So I'm going to say that larger maps should be mostly avoided, but in the case of when it's done right, when it's done on something like Dry Dock, when you have different sections of the map which can be held down, which can be influenced from other sections of the map, but not enough for it to be a Lancerfest, that just makes a great map right there. But when it comes to making a great execution map, which is what they should focus on, 3 lanes, moderately sized, between something along the lines of Checkout and Old Town. Great examples. So, I'm going to explain the 3-lane rule to you guys. The 3-lane rule is something that Epic have kind of followed for a very long time, whereas every single map they make, or at least the vast majority of the maps they make, follow the 3-lane rule, which is 3 lanes through the center of the map. There has to be at least 3 lanes, because that... Oh yeah, and to explain this, the lanes have to be separated from each other. They don't have to necessarily be big. They don't have to be lanes in the sense of lanes. Like, they don't have to be literally lanes like they are on Old Town. But if you take, for example, Gridlock. Now, there are 3 separate lanes which are all separated from each other straight down the middle line of the map. These lanes are the sniper rifle, the center of the map, which holds the ensigns, I believe, and the archway, which holds the boomshot and the digger. And although that they can be influenced by each other, this still does follow the 3-lane rule. And to explain to you why this is such a good idea, why the 3-lane rule really should be followed extensively, is because you just have to look at the maps which don't follow the 3-lane rule. Look at Escalation. Terrible map. I can't imagine anybody who would like that map. Oh, what's that map called? Depths. It's an alright map, it's playable, but it's definitely not one of their best. You know, there's plenty of maps out there which don't follow the 3-lane rule and just aren't that good. So, I really need to encourage Epic to follow the thing that they invented themselves. The 3-lane rule was created by the people at Epic Games, and they don't really follow it that much. Or like, they don't follow it as much as they should. But like I say, 3-lane rule. Medium-sized maps which have great areas for Nasher play. That's another great thing, is don't have a map that's too open, because Nasher play is the bread and butter of the game, and it does keep the games moving. If you have a really, really open map, it's just not going to work, because of the nature of the game, because you can just sit in cover. You need a reason to be able to push someone, and you need the ability to be able to push someone. Good cover, be able to move from one piece of cover to another, is a great way of doing that, because if you push someone with an Asher, that will speed up the gameplay. If you just sit there in an open map where if you move 5 feet you get Lancer to the floor, the game's never going to work. It's just going to be slow as hell, and it's just going to be really, really boring. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to try and get my opinions out there on this, because maps are very complex things, and just trying to say what's good and what isn't is a very hard thing to do. But the main thing that they need to focus on is making sure areas which hold power weapons, especially strong power weapons like the boom shot, they're easily competed for through actual things like Nasher play, or at least the ability to outmaneuver opponents, not just areas where the person who camps the longest can sit there and wait for the other person to try and pick it up and then just lancer him down, like on something like Hotel. So yeah, that's really not very good map. But then On the other side of Hotel, you have things like the Torpo, which is great for Nasher play, great for intelligent movement around the map, great for getting crosses, doing great things. And it's a bit of a strange map, really, Hotel. It's good, but it's terrible. It's, you know, it's in the middle. But yeah, like I said, it's really hard to explain what makes a good Gears of War map because there's so many different factors. But I hope this gives you guys a good idea of what Epic should do to make great maps, and hopefully this can remind them of the things that they have created, the guidelines that they have created, and for some reason don't follow enough. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and goodbye.